Hello, hello, hello. How is everyone doing today? You are back stuck with me by myself. Sorry about that. Sorry to disappoint you. We will have Bob again on soon. Hello, hello, Wavy. Hope you are doing great. This morning started off looking bad, but yes, closing over 4,700 and grinding higher. It closed over 4,700. Definitely, it is grinding higher. So gotta stick with this little bounce as long as it lasts. We'll review that. Thank you again for being here. And by the way, if you are new here, please do consider I can't find my subscribe button. There we go. Please do consider subscribing, ringing the bell, and hitting the like or dislike button. And you're welcome to dislike it after that little faux pas. So, what do we think's going on in the markets? We didn't get a lot of the micro analysis done last night, but we did certainly go over the macro with Bob Iacchino. By the way, he is my business partner, and if you want to learn more about, how we complement each other in stuff, please go back and watch the market overview from yesterday, because that should actually be more evergreen, because it's not just dealing specifically with yesterday's price action. It is more of a macro viewpoint and what he thinks things are going to unfold in the next year. But until then, we got to take a look today what's going on. S&P up. We had inflation numbers out, by the way. Inflation numbers. Let's see here. I just had to refresh this last thing that I didn't do at the end of the day. But the CPI coming in at 0.5 versus 0.4% forecast. Year over year came in 7%, which is very hot inflation. The core came in hotter than normal too. By the way, they're going to be changing the inflation the CPI calculations for next month. Isn't that convenient? We're just going to modify the calculations, so we'll see how that plays out next month. But definitely coming in a lot hotter. But the market seemed to shrug it off. Overall, as Wavy said, we closed right now at 47.2050 for this session, and back over that 47.05 area, 47.03, 47.05. Little selling pressure. Let's take a look at the shorter term charts. A little selling pressure coming in, and this morning, and then at least the S&P not being able to fully recover. It did most of its heavy lifting last night in the European session, reversing in the US session, but still closing up net overall. Hello, Christoph. We will take a look at the 1 hour notes chart. Rich, choppy day. Welcome, both of you. And I didn't get to update this last night, but my bullish line in the sand was 47.16. Didn't get updated last night because we had Bob on. We had Bob on there. But I think that was worth it. You don't need my bullish line in the sand when you have a market expert like Bob on. So let's see here. Where do I want the bullish line in the sand tomorrow? We're about 47.25 area. That's where we're watching. Coming up here also, you can see here we have this harmonic cluster from the reverse harmonics. This was from the 9 a.m. low on the 10th of January. And everything is Chicago Standard Time or Central Standard Time, CST. So when we went back to this high on the 6th of January at 11 a.m., that gave us 47.3375. You see poking above there, but then strong reversal, could not get a close above there. At this point, we're shifting with that nice pause to the forward harmonics. The nice forward harmonics. Yeah, a lot of big tech. We have earnings. Earnings really get blasting off this Friday with the banks, so we will start taking a look at those. What's today? Wednesday. We'll take a look at those. Somebody remind me tomorrow to bring up the banks in this session. Market may be setting up for a pre-juicer. We shall see, but right now at least the short-term trend is up. So got to keep going with that. let's see what we're looking for tomorrow. Above about 47.25. I'm just going to watch for a return to this high area, 47.40 area. Then I have a pretty major area. We have this prior support becoming resistance, significant level, and a harmonic right about 47.58.50 to 47.60.25. Then above there, we have 47.79 to 47.81 is the next level. So those are both your upside levels. If you get through there, I'm just going to be keying off the 4,800 besides doing the intraday. Yeah, Rich, the company I shall not name on this stream was ripping today. We shall cover that in that one. Hey, Kalani, welcome. Bob CME, what video is a must watch? Well, thank you for that. Again, you can know Bob's on those CME videos all the time. He's also on TD Ameritrade. He does Bloomberg. He does Yahoo stuff. He's all over the place. That's why he's so busy, leaving me to the mundane technical analysis stuff. Let's see. So on pullbacks, we can watch the 1 hour for during the Asian session. I'm going to be focused more, and right now the key area is right here. Remember, this shifts overnight, so we got about 46.98.75, so 46.98 to 4700 with the rising rotation zone. You get a close below there, then I'm going to 46.76.50. Let me. Oh, by the way, we're above the. Where do we close the day? Let me just take a look. We closed essentially right at the 62.5. 62.5 level. I can't actually see. About 47.20. We closed pretty much right at it. Based off that, it's technically is indecisive because we need to close above it. We're going after higher prices now. I do have a potential take profit signal if we close below today's low. Okay, and a close below today's low, that is a potential take profit signal and possibly a return to short depending on market internals. But right now, that's something to keep an eye on. If you do get a daily close below, not just a drop, not just a pullback, but a close below. So I'm just looking now. The key area for if we did close below that, the key area I'd be watching for the pullback is about 46.55 to about 46.35. That's my major pullback area, but I'd really be focused on this 46.55 with the 50% retracement of this up move and the rising 50 exponential. Right now, it's back in bullish mode on the daily. The weekly still, you can see here, we ran down. This week tested the rotation zone, and so far the rotation zone is holding up. We have recently softened it about 3 times, so if we start breaking down again, then I'll start really focusing on the lower prices. But until that happens, got to trade with the trend. We've already gone over to higher prices, so all that's in place. Let's see what other comments. Bob is a rock star. I will be sure to pass that along. You're the genius. Well, thanks for the little plug there, Wavy. Bob's a rock star on the genius. Well, then you're a rock genius combo. I don't know what to make of that. By the way, we are in this we entered yesterday. Again, I did not get a chance to talk about this, just the core pure technicals. But I thought yesterday was more important because you get me every day with the core pure technicals. But we have a clear path move. We closed in it yesterday, and now we're up here, and the first target of that is at 47.58, and I have that harmonic 47.60, so that would be the major area I'd be focused on tomorrow. And I would not ignore this if we get through there, 47.81. Why? Because it's right at the top of this prior candle body resistance shelf. You can see here we cannot get a close over this little shelf right here. The highest close, was it here? Oh, was it close here? 47.84.50, 47.86 is the highest close. So 47.81.25 to 47.86 would be my major severe resistance pattern should the rally continue tomorrow. All right. Nasdaq. Nasdaq. Another thing we didn't get to, we had this was pointed out in the company that shall not be named live stream, but this is a sloppy inverse head and shoulders. And this one, in case you did not see, the company shall not be named live stream. Shoulder, head, shoulder, downward sloping neckline, which is what you want for inverse, and it has to reverse a move. Okay, so the targets are the 16,027. Then we have 16,182, 16,337. All the targets are within the move that started and created this inverse head and shoulders. So all of that is completely valid. Let's see. Let's see what else we have. I got to update a bunch of these levels right now. I got to clear up a little with these charts. It's getting to be a mess. A mess. We can't have messy charts now, can we? By the way, bullish mode for tomorrow. As you see here, let me zoom in before I raise my bullish mode. We had this 15,978 key significant level. Could not get a close above it before pulling back. That's roughly my 15,970. We'll just go with 15,970 or 972 as the bullish line in the sand tomorrow. And then the 16,027 for any bullish plays from this inverse head and shoulder, that is a stop production. It does not take profits. The first take profit area would be this 16,190, 189, 190. And there's no problem. We have that significant level right here it's a minor one at 16,146. So if you wanted to, if we got key resistance right there, actually, if I come to raise this a little, let me see how that looks. I'm just looking. That's actually not bad. It's not a significant level, but that's right in line with the head and shoulders pattern. So I just go off this 16,175 to 16,182 as profit taking and raising stops as partial profits. Then 16,337 right near the prior breakdown area. So that's also a little key area to watch for. Not over to 62.5%. So it could still, again, and we could hit the stop reduction and still not close over that 62.5% and still roll over. So NASDAQ is the least of the bullish ones for me still. And today you see running up to the top of the rotation zone and closing back down. But if you do get a close tomorrow above this 1627, which is interesting because that's the first target head and shoulders, it's the top of the daily rotation zone, then we're still going to be into neutral mode back on the NASDAQ from a daily perspective. But to really get the bull case on, we need a close above about 16,100. And when I say bull case, that's just looking for higher price action back into this recent topping area. That does not mean we will go to new all-time highs, or as Bob likes to say, I say all new time highs. Makes more sense to me. All new time highs. All right, on a pullback, again, I'd pay attention to the bottom of the 4-hour rotation zone and this little resistance shelf becoming support. You break through there. Next area back down would be about 15,700. Then I'd watch for kiss the neckline goodbye. If you get a close, we don't really have a great fail safe here. Do not have a great fail safe here. So again, a close below the neckline would be very cautionary with the head and shoulders continuing. No, higher inflation is not good for stocks, but people are shrugging that off. So it's not good for stocks because it's not good for PE ratios. It's not good overall. It eats into the profit margins and everything else. But you still have people shrugging everything off, thinking the Fed's going to blink. And if the market takes and turns into a dive, and Powell yesterday says they can control inflation without damage to the economy, which meaning causing a slowdown or a recession. I don't agree with it, but you know what? People are taking it for its word, so it'll keep going higher, and it came out of oversold conditions. Now, do I think this is necessarily going to new highs? Not yet, but we got to trade with the trend, and right now the minor trend is up. I'm still being very cautious in the Nasdaq, and I see the other stocks. We'll get to those in a second. It's obvious to us that Bob is the brawn and you're the brain. You mean I'm not the brawn? Let's see. People want any reason to buy, and people are still buying the dips. Remember, the dips will keep getting bought. We're just in this huge distribution. Again, I still think we're in a huge distribution top. Even if we went to minor new highs, I think we're in a distribution top, which means stuff's getting rotated out. I'll take a look at that in a second. I have a little something just to show everybody here. I'm trying to always introduce little new things into this live stream. I think there's been enough people who've been around for a while that I can keep introducing some more advanced concepts. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's just take a quick look at the Dow. The Dow, is still in bullish mode. It just barely got to neutral mode, but back to bullish mode. This is, could not get much on today. Let me put on the retracements here, because we had this stronger rotation back into some S&P. We had some stronger rotation back into some growth. Key area tomorrow, essentially, I'm watching is this 12.5% retracement level with these candle tops, about 36 to 30. Above there, we have 36,433, then 36,535. Support coming in. Support. See, we got a flat 4 hours, so I just have to go off retracement harmonics. So I'd be watching about 36.45 to about 36.30 as my first level of support. We broke below there. I got major support coming in about 35,925, and key line in the sand is about 35,828 for the next support level. Dow, based off the daily, it's still trying to chug along, but it's interesting. Now, this ties into what I wanted to talk about next. Then we'll get to some stocks. Oh, before I get to that, real quick, dollar index. Dollar index, major breakdown below this 95, essentially 60 area into an advanced clear path. Next support is 94.54. Why you see those lines up there, I just wanted to highlight this. This was a major monthly double bottom that was triggered back in September and came to the first and second price targets. The key area, even with a pullback, still the first and second targets are complete, and it was into this really nice clear path move. But if we get back down below about 93, then it's over for the dollar for the time being. And I will then watch for a return to this 89.80 to about 88.65. So that'll be interesting to see how that plays out longer term. Now, one other quick thing I wanted to go over. We've talked about a couple times growth and value, to shift more into growth and value. I have these are different ETFs. These are Vanguard, growth and value. This is iShares, growth and value. And I have ratios that I have it set up. This is a quick and dirty way to measure the ratio between growth and value. So when it's going up, growth is outperforming. When it's going down, value is outperforming. So you can see here, by the way, you can actually trade off these things and shift in and out of like even growth and value portfolios, or even these exchange traded funds, by using key patterns just off of this. So we had a double top earlier. That pattern's complete, and if you look here, You look at the other one, and I do like to do both because these are different baskets of stocks, each depending on what they think the value versus growth stocks are. But I like to do both of them, and you see double top also on the iShares one coming back down and hitting all those patterns. So I just wanted to review that. We've had this little bounce still. Last couple of days, we've shifted back into growth on a bounce, all right, versus value. You can see it on both of them. Let me just take out that double stuff. But what are we up against? I mean, this, you have your major. So these are still, even this is where I'm coming from with this. You know, the Nasdaq's been dominated and somewhat the S&P by a lot of growth versus value. And you can see growth breaking down. And over the last couple of days with the most recent bottom and the little rally up, it's been shifting back into growth. But even if we come back up to this ratio of 2, it can easily roll over just with the daily rotation zone and head lower. And you see that right here also. Now the key line in the sand that came down on this ratio to key support, bouncing off it. But here's your next little, I mean, you can do technical analysis on this all day long and it works exceptionally well. By the way, I used to trade a ton of pairs to be a large pair trader, and technical analysis on stock pairs and anything ratioed like this works very, very well. So you can start to see, this is where I'm a little hesitant because, all right, this was an indecisive day, but if we start shifting back into value versus growth, you can start to see another, you can start to see at least the Nasdaq rally potentially roll over again. So I recommend you can, it's VUG divided by VTV. That's how you plot this. Or it's IVW divided by IVE. That's how you plot these. I'd recommend you can make a little ratio watch list, and I'll be adding to these over time. I'm not going to give away everything right now. You know, people have to keep tuning in, but that's a little thing that you can start watching for with a growth and value and how it's shifting. And then using that, I said I'd give more and more stuff because we have a lot of smart people watching this. So I'm giving a little more hints on things to watch as we continue to unfold. All right, let's see what stocks. William, by the way, William, there's your Boeing. William was, I was not going to get into an individual stocks major yesterday. William, I did see your comment. You wanted Boeing running up, little pausing here, but we're still working on this double bottom formation. So was not ignoring you. Sometimes sometimes I just miss a question or a comment. Other times it's just not appropriate at the time, so I'm not going to take people's time up that's very valuable. Now, you want Hood today? Again, Hood, here's your line of sand for Hood, at least from, it's just grinding lower. It's got some divergences forming, but until it would just be trying to grab a bottom. You have a little mini, tiny double bottom. Tiny. You can see it right here, triggered on the 4-hour. Okay. That's about your only aggressive play to the upside. And it could not get, what's interesting is the lower probability on the daily and the 4-hour because it couldn't even get out of the way of the 4-hour. Now, if you get another loop back up and you get a close above about 1678 on the 4-hour, there's a quick little pop to the upside potential. But look where that sits with the daily. That just takes you to daily rotation zone. So when I talk about trades like this, you're trying to grab a bottom. You have to, and if you're trying to grab a bottom, you have to be very aggressive in moving up stops because it could just roll over again and continue to head lower. So please keep that in mind with any of these aggressive bottoming formations, especially when they're against the rotation zone. And even if you get the pop in the daily, we're starting to get the weekly because we're starting to get enough price information. I mean, major resistance is only at now at 20 on the weekly. So you're trading at close, what, 1625? So you get a little upside potential, maybe if you get through the daily, the 4-hour, into the weekly rotation zone. But easier things to trade. That's not a great trade right now. If you're forced to trade it, I don't know why you'd be forced to trade it. But these are things I think there's better things. Find things that are going in an uptrend or at least have a little better potential than trying to just take something grinding lower and eking out a little profit. Like the little double profit, you're in at 16, let's say you're out at 18, $2 on with a hell of a lot of risk on a $16 stock. It's not worth it to me. Let's see, Ken. Let's see. Thanks for being here. After you're done with the indices, I bought 400 shares of PayPal at the 4-hour buy signal. Took half off at 189. Or lose. We'll add or lose shares at 186.65. What do you think for a long hold? Let's take a look at PayPal. PayPal's still in. I mean, really, let's see what you did. You got 183.19, and then you took half off at 189. Well, on that remaining shares, I would have my stop loss would at least be a break even. Why? Because you're just trying to catch a little bottom, and this is a buy signal within a little horizontal consolidation. If it starts running tomorrow, the key thing, if it continues up and it doesn't pull back to your stop level, again, I would not risk money on that trade beyond what you've already taken off and move the rest to break even stop. Why? You're just in this choppy horizontal channel. What you really need, if you want to make it a long-term hold, is in the next couple days, you need to close back above this 196 area. You need to close back above here. The daily rotation zone is flat, which is good because it's in consolidation. The 4 hours flat. The weekly is still, see, look where your weekly is. That's why I'm saying, and I didn't even have to look at the weekly chart yet to know that it was already, you have to get above this 196 area. That would take you into weekly rotation zone and into this clear path. And then I'd be targeting the other side of the weekly rotation zone. And remember, we've had a massive double top in this on the weekly basis, and we've stalled out at the first target. So you could easily still come into this, move up into this clear path, and then roll back over and hit these lower targets. So as a long-term hold, the only way I'm doing it is if it gets up, and this wouldn't be a long-term hold. This would be maybe I'll categorize it in my swing trade thing. A swing trade thing could be a week to 2 weeks. If it could get a close above 196 without you getting stopped out. Why is it 1 to 2 weeks? Because it could easily just run up here and then roll over and continue to go lower with the bigger pattern. In order for it to start getting interesting to me from a longer term perspective, I'd have to get key price action back above about 225. Now, if you did get a close above this with remaining shares, then I'd be looking to take a little more off on a run up, maybe half of your half position. So you got in with 400, you already obviously took half off, so which was 2, fine. So now you have 200 left. Let's just say tomorrow you got to close above this. Again, all hypothetical. You start running up, I do some little projections down here like this. So you can use your little short-term harmonics. Especially, you get up to this 202 area, take another 100 off. Or at least raise your stop again. You get up, if you didn't want to take it off there, you could do, I'd have to do measured moves on that channel, but it's roughly going to come about 2 to 210. You could take off another 100 at 210 and keep your rest 100 and see how it reacts at the top of the rotation zone. And if it rotates back down, close out the position. If it continues to power higher, that's where you can always re-add back in once you get the daily rotation zone climbing above this 196 in your favor. But this is a position I would manage very closely, Ken. Again, this is educational purposes only. Can't give detailed trading advice. I'm just trying to play out hypotheticals to show how I analyze stuff, because I'm not your financial advisor, and not licensed to do that. I can only trade. I am not licensed to give financial advice, but this is trading advice from an educational point of view. That's why you have to assume your own risk when trading. That's why we have that nice long disclaimer at the beginning too. Not because we're trying to, it's actually just, people should actually read that because there is risk in the markets, and people then say, well, somebody said to do this. You always need to take responsibility for your own trading and investing decisions. The only time you can blame somebody else is if you turn all your money over to a financial advisor and they completely screw it up, then blame them because you turned your money over to them. But that was still your decision. Let's see. Shashi, welcome, welcome, welcome. Cathie's fund can be consolidated with ARC-RQ. I think Cathie will have to merge her funds at some point. Again, she's getting this little bounce, but already look, back, what's this? That's why we watch this. Daily rotation zone already rotating back down, which does not bode well for her. Couldn't even get back to this 90-80 level. Okay? So she's just going to bleed out slowly. This is going to bleed out, especially with inflation. These unprofitable tech firms with even if they do make any earnings, their PEs are so high they're going to get crushed by inflation. And inflation is not the friend of these crappy tech, strong growth, very few or no profit companies. Let's put it that way. So I think Cathie will have to consolidate. I think that will be her first thing she's going to have to do to stave off mass liquidation. And then I don't think it's going to stave it off for long, especially when we do get the bigger drawdown and pullback. I think she's going to take a bath, and probably with redemptions and margin calls and everything else, she's going to have to, even after consolidation, she'll have issues. Yep, inflation 70 highest since 82. Core inflation highest came in at 5.5%, highest since 91. I don't know. I don't know how, because she's great at adding to losers and selling winners, and she doesn't have a lot of stability in her portfolios from essentially longer term stable tech firms. I guess her saving grace at this point has been the company that shall not be named. Why, M, why don't you consider this a 4-hour double bottom? I might have missed it. What? I probably missed it. Thanks, Christoph. It is a double bottom. Sorry, I did miss that. Actually coming up, hitting the first stop reduction. So thank you. This is why I have people on the live streams to look for stuff when I miss it. That was a valid double bottom. So hitting the stop reduction right now, and this is still in play. So on a rotation, especially continued move up, you have the targets of, look, and you have the targets of nearly with the harmonics. It doesn't change that much. You have that harmonic target we listed before to about 36,445. Then you have 36,535 to 36,557. Thank you for catching that, Christoph. Guess she's licking her wounds. Can you check US dollar, Canadian dollar? Sure. Come on. Where is it? I forget I don't do a slash in this. Here we go. Ooh. Now this, does anybody spot this pattern right here? Anybody spot this in the US dollar CAD? And then we'll get to some more, but that is, let me see. Let me see. This is a double This is not a double top, a head and shoulders that's been triggered. Yeah, and it's valid because its first and second targets are in the move that started it. So again, it might find a little bounce off this 200 simple, but you have the daily rotation zone rolled over. You have this horizontal shelf right here, and also the neckline. So in any rally, your key resistance on this is about 126.25. But I'd be watching longer term, even if you get a slight bounce, I'd be watching 124.53, 23, 123.64. Then if you get there, I'd really be focused on there for a lot of taking off profits. But if the dollar's just getting hammered, then I'd start looking down to right around this 123 to this full target, 122.77. That's your US dollar CAD. Uh, my kids, 15 and 10 years watching your show, they like your show. They like me better than. Wow, well, you must have smart kids. That's all I have to say, Shasha. You have very smart kids. If they like this show, they're very smart. I don't think I was watching a show like this when I was. I don't think there was a show like this when I was 10 and 15. The last thing I remember watching from a fun point of view was when I was younger, and this was probably when I was older, younger, was Ren and Stimpy. I used to love Ren and Stimpy. Uh, let's see. How do you have the charts all auto setup? Again, I put my indicators on there, and then if you come up here, you have, where is it? Where'd it go? Where's my templates? Why can't I find it now? Boy, this is just a, where'd my templates go? Boy, when I need my templates, there's a little thing that says templates under here, and I can't find it right now. I don't know what happened to it. That's interesting. Oh, there it is. It got smushed. Indicator templates. So I save my things as different indicator templates. You see I have a bunch of them. So that's where I can take a look at stuff, and you just save things as a template, and then it automatically switches. And if you don't want to see a template, you can just switch templates, and or you can always just remove your lines. That's just removing the line drawings. You can also hide everything if you just want to look at stuff. So, but the easiest thing to do is to just save things as a template. So once you get everything on there, you say hit save indicator template, and then I wouldn't check interval or symbol. That way you can just change things around. It'll go to whatever time frame. But you see here I have a bunch of templates down here, and you can always change things and rename them and everything else. That's a great way to do that. PayPal downgraded by Jeffries lately. I don't follow all the upgrades and downgrades literally, but thanks for that information. Great. You have tight stops on PayPal. Yeah, that was the Head and Shoulders. Thanks for answering that question so well, Wavy. That was, yep. And Michael, Wavy and Michael get the grand prize of a shout out. Shout out to Wavy and Michael. That's your prize for naming it right. I used to play with rocks. Oh boy. Let's get to the 10-year. Oh, the 10. Oh, you want the this. On what time frame? Let's see. Yeah, you have a little double bottom on the yield. Yep. You guys, you don't even need me anymore. I'm leaving. I'm done. See our double top. Remember we had that double top on the yield? Look at that. Completed the full thing. Now you have a little mini double bottom. It's on a 1 hour, so yep, that is correct. Jake, you've got it. You have got it almost up to the first profit target. I don't like this as much because this extended sideways, so I'd be a little cautious on there, but it is valid. And I corrected myself yesterday. This wasn't invalidated with this push down, and we came up and look at that. Here was the full double target on the notes. This is not the yield. This is the notes themselves. So that's done. And just a bigger perspective again. Remember, we have a massive head and shoulders, and we still haven't hit the first target. The first target is all the way down at 125.19. So even on these little rallies, even on a rally to 130 nearly, I mean, it's just a rollover rally to me. So longer term, we're going to see much higher rates. It's just how long it'll take to play out. I mean, you can see it really nice on this monthly chart. I should probably fix this. Hold on. I don't normally have to do that with a monthly chart, but you can see it. Look at this. You can see the head and shoulders really nice on that monthly chart, and you can see the move all the way back down here. Look at that. Potentially reversing this whole move longer chart. And since this is monthly, look how long it took to create the head and shoulders. Started creating it in August of 19, and it finally broke through at October of 21. So don't think this is going to happen overnight. This is a long-term pattern, but it's another thing to keep in mind. Yep, Home Depot. I have that. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. What do you see on the chart already there, Michael? What do you see? That's a completely valid double top. I'm watching that one like a hawk. I love to trade Home Depot. So I'm watching this thing as a hawk. You get a close both. Did this? I don't think this actually did it. No, the low is 91. I am right. So this hasn't even confirmed yet. It is still a potential. All right. Still a potential, but a little bounce off this base area. Watching for a rollover, a close below 380.90. And then I'm watching, especially, you have this last target all the way down here. I'd be focusing on the 200 first, right in front of this last target, but the first two targets are really good. So we have this little pausing area, which you might get a little pause once it does start to break down. So don't be surprised at that. With this little pausing area right in here, you actually have this little horizontal. See there, that little horizontal shelf? So we ran up with a really nice breakout move from a long sitting. You had this big power run up. You took a long time to work off that overbought condition. Power run up, horizontal shelf, gap with the earnings running up, and now it's created this really big double top pattern. You can see it really nicely also on the weekly. The only one negative, well, this is actually sort of a positive, it hasn't triggered yet. You still have the weekly rotation zone right there. That's the only drawback to the pattern. But even if you get all through this, look where the 50-week is. Right back down, and look at this, right back down to this prior breakout area. Jeez, come on. Come on. There we go. Look at that. Look at how nice that looks. Beautiful. Yeah, it didn't trigger yet. So, I have no problem trading it off the daily chart. If you want to err on the side of caution, you trade it off the weekly chart and you wait for that weekly close. I think this will give I think even with the weekly rotation zone being right here, Christoph, you could trigger, get a little bounce, give an even better entry, and then, so this could easily trigger, coming in here, triggering, even on a weekly basis, even if it doesn't trigger this week, if it triggers the next couple weeks, the daily rotation zone will keep coming down. A little bounce up, and then I'd be watching, for some key resistance areas, and then a rollover move, which could even give a better entry. and then it's already soft in the weekly rotation zone, and then see ya. I love this. I want Home Depot to pull back. This is it's way overextended in my book. Way overextended. I mean, look at this. That's Home Depot. All right. So I want a bigger, I mean, I'd love to see get this pull back into the monthly rotation zone, back down by this base, and then a nice basing pattern. Yeah, those are the kind of plays that's a longer term play, but that's what I like. You guys are really learning. Nice clear path after that. But you guys don't need me anymore. You don't. That's all there is to it. Yeah, it has had a killer decade, but it's overextended. Some of the stuff that used to be considered value has shifted into this. I don't see the valuations here anymore. Home Depot was trading more like a hyper growth stock than a complete value play. Not a problem because it's definitely tradable. But at this point, if I want to keep it in a portfolio long term, I want a really decent pullback and I want it to get a better valuation. And then it's like, okay, let's start putting it back in the portfolio and then trading around a core position, because this is something you could own for a long time and just trade around a core position. You think I'm going to build a huge core position up here? No, I want to build a core position much lower again. There's not, even in value stocks. This is my other thing. I was going to go real quick and then I got to wrap this up so I can get the other live stream without it running late. But even a lot of these value stocks aren't value. I'm not seeing a ton of value out there, even in value stocks. Their PEs are slightly more reasonable than a lot of these growth stocks, but they're not in value territory. They're even overextended. That's what really worries me when this could unravel, that we don't have a lot of stuff that's even well priced. I need some things to go on sale, and we haven't had a good sale for a long time. My long-term hold at the moment is Bitcoin. Okay. Well, if you got into the four-figure range, that's great. I just advise you keep an eye on Tether. When Tether blows, Bitcoin's gonna get pummeled. When Tether does blow, and it will blow. Stay-at-home thing they were spending and putting those stimulus checks to work in the stock. I agree. It had a great run up, but now it's just so overextended. Yep. Target and Costco they've had massive runs also, but Target's been on its downward move for a while. Target, look at that. It did trigger the double top. And this is exactly, all right, look at this. Let me show you this. Now, the weekly rotations wasn't in the way, but this is somewhat what I was talking about with Home Depot. See how this triggered and then bounced back up into the rotation zone, and now I'm watching for lower. That's why Target I won't touch, but we start getting lower prices. You start completing this massive double. I'm interested again. Costco, we had this mess up here. It was a double, then we had this little mess, which was very sloppy, and then it just returned to the weekly rotation zone. I'm just watching this $500 mark, because if we start closing below there again, then I'm targeting this 467.75. And with that, I love fire sales on some great stocks. That's where I love the market just get obliterated every once in a while, and they obliterate great stocks, and you can pick them up and build a core position, and then you can trade around it for 2 or 3 years easily. Lowe's and Home Depot looks the same. I haven't looked at Lowe's. There's your, I haven't looked at it, you can see in a little bit because I didn't update the harmonics, but there it is. The Lowe's double top, potential double top is now confirmed. It's just not triggered on the weekly, and it's confirmed on the daily and not triggered on the daily. So that's another interesting play you can take advantage of. If you didn't want Home Depot, you could easily play Lowe's. There's the conservative targets right there. It just hasn't officially triggered yet, but it is confirmed. All right. We'll leave it at that for today. Let me switch my list back and get prepared for another live stream in 5 minutes. Anybody wants to join me on that one? Thank you. Netflix Square Falling, as you said, good trades for me last couple of days. Well, great. Remind me tomorrow and we'll take a look at them again. Shashi, thank you, Michael. Thank you, Wavy. Again, thanks a lot, everyone, for being here. Hope you continue to learn, and please keep sharing this with other people. Let them know about this channel so we can keep growing it. Can I check on natural gas really quick? I'm just gonna. Oh, no, I don't want that one. I want this one. Where am I? Yeah, natural gas, nice breakout into a clear path move. It's already hit its first target though. Here's your natural gas right there. Breakout of a beautiful horizontal channel. And then running, see this clear path? This is exactly what you want. There's the breakdown level. If it continues higher, your next target's right here. Wonder where that puts the harmonics. You guys just get me going with technical analysis and then I can't stop. Look at that. Then there's your full target on it. That's the full remaining target. But this is definitely a take right here. Is if for learning purposes, this is where I take partial profits and up a stop, and then if it keeps going, and I wouldn't up a stop too aggressively because this thing could pull back a little and then rotate higher. But the next major profit area is right up here. There's your natural gas. Remind me if you want more. Rich, if you want more, remind me again tomorrow, right in the beginning, and we will get to it after I finish the Dow. And again, thanks, Christoph, for pointing out my missing the double with the Dow, and I'll talk to everyone.